Hello, and welcome to Archfelder's Hacks with Archfelder and his amazing hacks. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to farm a specific item from the Legacy Dungeon Blackrock Spire. The item we're going to be farming sells for just under 18,000 gold on the auction house currently, and we will on average get one every 7 to 8 minutes. First, it is important to understand that this farm is very good for a specific situation. Normally when gold farmers talk about a given farm, they talk about gold per hour, as if players would just grind away for hour after hour in a specific location. Not only does this not really reflect the reality of how most players farm gold, it isn't a good idea for reasons I'll explain. Blackrock Spire is a legacy dungeon, and like many dungeons in early WoW, has a range of rare elite NPCs that drop interesting items. These rares are not guaranteed to spawn every time you enter a dungeon. Consequently, the items these mobs drop, which are themselves only a percentage chance, are amplified in rarity by the possibility you won't encounter the mob at all. Because of this, these items are rarely discovered by anyone except gold farmers. Now, there's a trick to determining whether any given rare is up in a dungeon, and this is known to sophisticated veteran players. It is not exactly a secret, but it is a trick that has largely been forgotten. This will give you an edge over many gold farmers. When entering a dungeon, use the command /tar, that's TAR, followed by the name of a specific mob that will target that mob, if it is in reasonably close proximity. Now we're going to be farming one mob and one mob only, and the name of that mob is bannok grimaxe, and note the spelling, it's important. So make a macro with this command /tar bannok grimaxe and bind it. Now enter the dungeon and use the macro. If it works, you will see Bannok appear as your target. If it doesn't, he hasn't spawned in this instance, and you need to leave the dungeon and reset it, as I've been showing you here. This often takes multiple tries. Bannok only spawns between 30 to 40% of the time. When Bannok is actually present in the dungeon, you can see his approximate location through the walls. Move through the dungeon and seek him out. Now, if you have no slowfall or mobility talents to jump across this chasm over the river of lava, you'll want to follow this path down to the area Bannok spawns in. Now, you actually want to take as much full damage as possible for reasons I'll explain shortly. By the way, tar is an old technique, but it is a really powerful one, and it can be used with any rare spawn farm in a dungeon. It also has an amazing synergy with another technique, which I'll show in a future video. Bannok always spawns in this area, but his exact location varies a bit. What we're hoping to get from Bannok is the blacksmithing plans for the Arcanite Reaper, which is an iconic historic weapon. Those plans are worth just under 18,000 gold. Wellhead records them as an 8% drop. I got them rather more than that. I'm not sure how accurate that number is. Now, having killed Bannok, there's the question of getting out of the dungeon, and getting back on foot is just not a viable option. It takes too long. The obvious thing to do is jump in the lava, unequipping your gear if necessary to avoid durability damage. However, doing this at full health takes a full 22 seconds to kill my mage here, plus as much as 20 additional seconds you'll need to walk from Bannok's corpse to the lava. We deliberately took full damage earlier to speed up the process. 42 seconds might not seem a lot, but it is a significant time cost, given that you can get instant lockout after only 5 or 6 minutes. If you want to run this dungeon even faster, there's another method, and that involves purchasing some pinch whistle nitro fuel from your faction's inn in Ashran. Then, once you've killed Bannok Grimaxe, drink the fuel while standing next to a fire, and there's fires all over the areas where Bannok spawns. This will reduce your character's health very quickly, much faster than the lava does, and also avoids the character having to move. Now, when it comes to selling the plants, Don't go crazy and try and dump dozens of the plans on the auction house at once. This is a speciality market. Putting more than one plan on the market reduces the value of each of them by increasing the available supply. Like most similar items, you should aim to sell one during your auction house routine, along with a balanced portfolio of other similar items. This farm is good if you have a 60 plus character that for whatever reason you are not actively using at this moment in time. It is important to understand that every character like this is a resource that should be used to work for you rather than just abandoned. Your main character isn't appropriate for this type of farm because at any time they will be progressing through a range of content and will constantly be travelling from place to place. This farm is appropriate for a character you can just leave in the same location. Now, like all similar farms that I've published in the past, I've used this farm, I've made money with it, I've tested it, and that's why I recommend it. But what's more valuable than the actual farm itself is the methodology and reasoning behind the basis of the farm, rather than the actual specifics of it. Blizzard could suddenly nerf the drop rate on the plants, or other gold farmers could start taking a keen interest in it and destroy any value by increasing the supply to the auction house. But if you can apply the principles involved in this specific farm to farms that have not yet been discovered, then you can create something wonderful that you'll get all to yourself, and that will be better than anything any YouTuber could ever tell you about. This farm works well for several reasons. It involves the use of an obscure targeting method, and perhaps there are other forgotten methods lurking in the archives of Warcraft websites that you can use profitably. This method allows you to decrease the rarity of a rare spawn and farm it efficiently and locally, where most people running this dungeon will be running it in its entirety. Even other gold farmers will probably be mostly looking at a range of specific bosses with lucrative drops. For this reason, supply is limited, and limited supply drives up the price. If you want to know more about advanced gold making techniques like this, then you might want to subscribe. I'm planning some more content along similar lines in the near future. And if you want to get this stuff early and also access a treasure trove of information that I can't put on YouTube because it would get instantly hotfixed, why not consider joining my Patreon in the link below. Thanks for watching. This has been Archwell. Nice. Do you like my Sylvanas pet?
She's your pet. She's very big.
I have no time for games. What are we if not slaves to this torment?
Wouldn't this be useful if you
She's
did
such
it?
a joy, Vera.
Actually, she'd be really useful in the real world. Imagine like you go into the bank and say, "Can I have a loan, please?"